Bry's Comics.
Welcome back to Bry's Comics. In this video, we're going to talk about the numbers. And this is a video that I have been looking forward to myself. I've been keeping track here of all of the numbers of everything that went into the recent collection that I just picked up. If you've been following the channel, you know that I recently picked up a collection with 17 long boxes with some really decent stuff inside those long boxes. And I got them for $100 a piece. If you haven't seen any of those videos, we'll put a link down in the description to those so you can see what was found and what has now been sold. So we've been through 3 long boxes so far. And we had one Whatnot show where we sold, most of the books from those 3 long boxes. Some of the books weren't sold, and I'll talk about that here in just a sec, and some are heading off to CGC. So we're going to take a look at all of the numbers associated with all of that and see just how much money is actually being made. But before we hop too far into it, I want to remind you, we always do a monthly giveaway here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, comment, and like, you're entered to win a free slab. And if you head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win a free slab over there each and every month, and use code COLLECT10 for 10% off all in-stock items. I almost forgot to mention we are going to be back on Instagram Friday, April 28th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to go till about 8 p.m. Pacific time with guest DJ Steven from Minor Keys Comics. I was editing the promotion for this, and it has been 1 year to the day that we did a live sale on Instagram with Steven. So we're back. It's going to be a night of giveaways, awesome discounts on slabs, and I really hope to see you there over on my Instagram page at Bry's Comics. So let's head back to my little cheat sheet here of everything we've been keeping track of. And I want to start off with the hours, okay? How much time has been invested in this for the 3 long boxes? We're up to 38 hours. Now, the 38 hours is kind of inflated a little bit for the first part because that includes the time that it took to pick up the collection. That was a full 8-hour day, myself driving down to Santa Rosa and picking up the collection. So it won't take that many hours to sell the next 3 long boxes, but it'll be close. It'll be about 30 hours because there's researching the keys, getting them prepped, getting every single book individually graded for the most part. Sometimes we do grade estimates, but most of the books have been actually taken out of the bag, evaluated, graded, looked up the key significance. So there's about 30 hours, I would say, for 3 long boxes, which is a lot of time. And so if we put on there a value of $20 per hour, which is low, when it comes to having employees, you have to, there's, state taxes and all kinds of other costs associated with that. And I guess with that labor, I'm not even including the other overhead, the cost of having a shop and things like that. But I kind of want to make this video relatable to the average collector, someone who doesn't have a shop, to conceptualize this if you wanted to do this as a side gig. And, right out the gate, you can tell that it's kind of more than a side gig. If you're going to take on a collection of this size, you're definitely not going to be able to do this, part-time. It's 30 hours for 3 long boxes. You could do it part-time. It would just take you way longer. Say maybe you do a couple hours here and there. You might be able to do something like this, but it's a full-time job, which is why people often take a big collection like this to a comic book shop. So these are the books that have been sent off to CGC. So I'm actually going to show you, there's a handful of them back over here that were 9/8 candidates as is, which was really awesome to see. It shows you the kind of condition that these books are in and the way they were stored. So these are all the books that are, at least pre-screened 9/8 candidates as is. All 3 copies here of Spider-Man #1. And this bad boy, the first appearance of Cindy Moon as Silk, 9/8 as is, and that Moon Knight book. So those books didn't even need a press, just 9/8 as is. And then there's 18 other books from the long boxes. So that's it. Out of 3 long boxes, about 900 books, there's 25 books heading off to CGC. So these are the other ones. I have them covered up here so they don't get dust. Some Marvel Age stuff, some awesome Batman stuff, some Spider-Man. These ones need a press. And so a total of 25 books out of that heading to CGC. So here's the cost breakdown for CGC. We've got these books that do not need a press, 18 books that do need a press, and we're going to give them an average value of $100 when they come back. So some will be more than that, some will be less than that, but I think $100 is a fair value. So that comes to $2,600 in value. So this number is actually not adding up. It should be $2,500 because there's 25 books. So $2,500 in value. 25 books, and the grading fees is about $25. Now, I know that CGC just increased their rates. These will actually be sent off to CGC before the rate increase, but it's right now, before the increase, about 25 bucks. It'll probably be about 26 bucks for a dealer. Dealers get a 15% discount, and you've got shipping both ways to CGC, so I bake all that into the $25 figure, and it'll probably go up to about $26, $27 here after the CGC rate increase. Now, 18 of them needed a press, and I do all the pressing in-house, but obviously that still takes time and resources. So if we did 10 bucks a book for those 18, that's $180. So the net value of the CGC books would be $17.95. Now we're gonna minus 15% from that. I sell comics every day for a living, and if you sell comics, you know that if you want to move them quick, you can't post them for FMV. You're going to have to take 10 or 15% off if you want to move books. I like to move books, so we'll take 15% off that price. And there's a potential value for the CGC books of $1,525 from those 25 books. Now, that hasn't been realized yet, and it'll be quite a while before it's actually realized, probably another month or two before those books actually come back from CGC and are sold, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, if we go back, the costs continue here. So, well, first of all, let's talk about the Whatnot sale. So from the sale, I had some other items that weren't from this collection, but about $1,500 net. So that's after Whatnot fees, after all the fees, Whatnot, $1,500 in my bank account from the 3 long boxes that were part of that collection. Now, what didn't sell from those 3 are these boxes here. So this is leftover. So here we go, some keys that were still in there, some decent books, not a ton of stuff. These 12-cent Batman, some of them went for like $4. That's the other thing I wanted to note on the Whatnot sales. There were some great deals. I mean, there was 12-cent, Silver Age books going for $4 or $5. But overall, $1,500 in sales. Some stuff that didn't sell yet. So keeping up with the costs here, shipping materials is $50. This is something that, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff about costs that has gone into this. I mean, I've already know that the rent for this place is something I didn't factor in, but shipping materials. Over here we have the wonderful Marcus. Everybody say hello to Marcus.
Hello there.
We've got the shipping material. So we've got bags, we've got the fancy new rubber stamp Champ of Bryce Comics logo that goes on the bag, the Gemini mailers, all of this costs money, bags and boards and stuff. So, little tiny costs like that, that are often forgotten. So $50 for that. Because there's about 60 total orders for Whatnot, and so about $50 in shipping materials. The U-Haul and the gas was about $160 to go pick up the collection in Santa Rosa. So that brings the costs down. Over here we have the total of the costs. The 3 long boxes themselves, $300. Labor, $760, which is totally low. This is a really low figure. It's actually probably a little bit more in hours and probably costs a little bit more, but it's a rough estimate, $760 in labor. Shipping materials, $50. U-Haul gas, $160 for a total of $1,270. Now for the income side, the net potential from CGC is about $1,525. But again, we are yet to actually see that money. We haven't actually got that money in, but there's a decent potential there for $1,525. The Whatnot net income is $1,500 for a total of $3,025. $3,025 minus the $1,270 is a potential net profit of $1,755. So, keeping in mind that we are doing this for a profit, that is the whole point of all of this. We wouldn't want to just break even, but as suspected, a decent amount of profit to be made for what was invested. But there's definitely something to be said about the amount of time and the operation. Maybe something I'm not factoring into it is like the stress of it. It's not like a bad kind of stress, but it's just like, having all of these books, having these Whatnot sales, having all of this stuff going on is like, it weighs on you a little bit. But again, it's not in a bad way. I wouldn't trade it for anything. There's nothing I'd rather be doing for work with my time. All right, so if we're at $17.55 profit and we got 17 long boxes total, if we can do this 3 more times, $17.55 times 4 times total, we're looking at $7,020 profit. Now, the thing of it is that's going to take months. It will be months before I'm done with this, before I've actually gone through all of this. There's, 4 times at least 30 hours. So 4 times 30 is another 120 hours worth of labor that's going to go into actually moving this much, this many comic books. So here's actually the whatnot orders, the rest of them going off, handing off here to Mark, who's ready for the next box. See, I mean, that just a good example of just how much work, is going into this. So $7,000 profit total when it's all said and done. I mean, that's out the door profit. That's after, employees are paid, you're paying for the time. It's profit, $7,000 profit. So leave a note in the comments. What do you think of that? Is that high? Is that low? For those that have been following know that the seller was the one who offered the price of $100 per long box, but I'll answer the question. For me, absolutely, 100 times yes, I would do this again and again and again and again. I hope I get another one like this, and I hope we can do it again. It's totally worth it for me, but I'm curious to know from you guys, would it be worth it to you? Would you buy 17 long boxes at $100 a pop and put this much time into it and do all of this work? So the next question is, at this juncture and at this point, because I'm also assuming that it's going to be the same quality of books in the rest of the boxes. We have only gone through 3, but I still don't even know what's in the rest of them. So these numbers are all based on assuming it's the same quality of stuff. So assuming it's the same quality of stuff, and assuming at the end of the day, after hundreds of hours of work, I make $7,000 profit, and I paid $1,700 to the seller for these books, what would be a fair thing to offer the seller as like a kickback? Because I do want to offer him something. I do want to, do something nice for him, a gift card. Leave it in the comments. What dollar amount do you think would be fair, all things considered? Now you have the full scope of everything. It's not a quick flip. This is hundreds of hours of work. Did I get a fair price? Is $100 long box actually a fair price? Some people, when they reach out with a large collection, they think, cover price is valuing my collection at X amount of dollars, and I think they fail to realize how many, hundreds of hours it takes to move, thousands and thousands of books, how much infrastructure, overhead, all the platforms and everything involved in actually moving that. I think a lot of people forget that. So when a seller comes with a reasonable price like $100 a long box, I think they just understand everything that goes into it. So curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. It's all part, this should give some more perspective on why it's so difficult to value raw book collections, because there's so much nuance and there's so much involved in it, and depending on the collection, it just depends on what the value could actually be. So that's it for this video. I was going to go through another long box and just dig and pull keys and go through that, but I think we're out of time for this video. I hope it was interesting and sheds a little bit more light on the whole process. If you found it at all helpful, please consider hitting subscribe. In so doing, it will enter you to win a free slab each and every month. Don't forget to head over to brycecomics.com and sign up for the newsletter. You'll be entered to win another free slab, and use code COLLECT10 for 10% off. Thank you as always for sticking with me to the end of the video. Don't forget to follow me over on Whatnot if you're interested in some of these awesome books and awesome deals. Link down in the description for $15 towards your first purchase, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.